Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Kustas, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Kustas, and I am so glad you're here. Okay, glowing up. It sounds like radiance, confidence, bold steps, next chapters, and don't get me wrong, it is. But what people don't always talk about is the part that comes before the glow. The part that feels messy, the part that feels heavy, the part that really requires letting go. It's the part where you finally say, I'm ready to become the woman that I know I'm meant to be. And then things start to shift. The energy starts to change. Conversations start to change, expectations start to shift, and you start walking through this strange hallway between who you were and who you are becoming. And it can feel really foreign. And let me tell you, I have had these moments lately, literally crying in the car, tossing and turning at night because I can feel this shift happening. And I have to be honest with you, I did not expect it to come like this. One day I'm feeling like I am on top of the world, and then the next day I am retreating and I am wondering if I am absolutely crazy for thinking that I can handle this much and wondering if maybe this glow up is too much, maybe it's happening too fast. But here is what I've come to realize. When I said yes to myself, to this next level version of myself, everything started shifting really fast. As I'm looking at it, hindsight, I'm going, whoa, this is all changing so quickly. And not just in the areas that I was expecting. Change started to hit me in places I wasn't even looking, like for real. It was happening in certain conversations. It was happening with opportunities, dynamics, responsibilities. It all started to move and it started to move fast. And I had to pause and remind myself of one powerful truth. And please hear me with this. You've probably already heard this before, but this is literally what I had to remind myself of. This isn't happening to me. It's happening for me. And we talk a lot about this whole thing of becoming, but no one talks, or I should say, not very many people talk about the unbecoming, that release, the shedding. I guess that's what it would be called, the shedding, the letting go of some of the roles, some of the rhythms and beliefs that no longer fit with the woman that you are becoming. So this whole glow up era, this whole thing that I am experiencing in real time, glowing up isn't just about, and I'm figuring this out, it's not just about what you add to your life. It's also about what you're willing to lay down. So I want to talk about that today. I am excited to talk about it. It feels, again, very vulnerable, but I told you from the beginning of this series that I was going to be real. And I was going to be more vulnerable than I have really ever been before. So, one of the biggest things that I'm laying down right now is the fear of being seen in a bigger way. And let me explain what that means, because I feel like that can be a little bit of a misconception. And To be honest with you, I wish I could say that I laid that fear down years ago because I really thought that I had. I really, really did. Because a few years back, when I walked away from teaching after 25 years to start this new path, I was met with some really painful judgment, and it was hard. I remember hearing from a mutual friend that a former colleague of mine had been sitting in a nail salon, always the nail salons, talking about me to someone we both knew. I think I talked about this story when I first started my podcast a year ago because it was such a big moment. And she had said those dreaded words, "Who does she think she is?" And let me tell you, that sentence cut me so deep because what it did is it echoed every quiet fear that I already had inside of me. Every whisper of doubt that said, "You're not enough. You're not ready. You're not that girl." All of those things that were already playing in my head just were confirmed when I heard those words coming back to me of who does she think she is? So I had to do a lot of work to move through that season, and I healed as much as I could, as much as I thought I needed to, and I found clarity, and I decided to step forward anyway. And yet, here I am, years later, being asked to step out in an even bigger way, and the same fear comes back. And this time, it's a little deeper. And I feel like I know why. Because life keeps inviting us to revisit the lessons we thought we were done with, not to punish us. I always say that it's not to punish us, but it's to free us at a new level. Because each time the invitation is to release another layer. And this time, that's why it feels different. I'm releasing another layer that I didn't know still needed to be released. And I can't deny that something divine is happening. I really believe that. I can feel it in my bones. There's no way I'd be stepping into the things I'm stepping into right now unless I was meant to be doing it, not just for me, but actually I'm hoping it's for you too. Because another thing I've come to realize is I really feel that I am supposed to be a voice for some. I'm supposed to use my story. I'm supposed to show other women that you can rewrite the script at any age, even if it looks wildly different than the plan you had at 10 years old. And before I get into that, I want to share that the reason why I've been able to come to this realization is because there have been women in my life that have shown me these things. They have shown me their voice. They have told me their stories. I have witnessed what they did with their lives, and it impacted me so, so deeply. Now, they weren't on a podcast. They weren't necessarily out there speaking and doing all of those things, but they were and are my friends. They're my mentors that went through a lot of things as women. And one in particular, who is one of my dearest, dearest friends, she is someone that led the way for me. And she walked every single step with me in my 25 years of teaching. Now, the last couple of years that we were teachers, I will say, I think maybe just a year, we did teach in separate schools, which she's still mad at me about, but it all happened for a reason. She knows who she is because I know she tunes in. but I'm so grateful. And it's her that's also encouraged me and been one of my biggest encouragers to do the work that I do. So just had to throw that in because I may be someone that is stepping into some bigger things by being a voice on perhaps a larger scale. But even if that is not your path, you are still someone that has a voice that is meant to be heard. And that is why I hope this work that I'm doing helps you in that space to realize how important you are. So let's go back. Now, I had my life planned out at 10 years old, literally. I was that girl, the girl who always had her life mapped out, college, marriage, kids, teaching, safety, structure, all the things. And now here I am at 51. I'm divorced. I've been divorced. I am remarried. I started a new career path at 48. And at 51, I'm still pivoting. It's crazy. I'm still learning. I'm still becoming. And the biggest surprise of all, I'm becoming someone I didn't even know that I had permission to be. I always had big dreams in my heart, but I believed I was second best. I always believed that I was only second best. I thought maybe more was for other people. So I played small because fear and judgment made it feel safer than being fully seen. And that is why I am laying it down. I'm choosing to be seen, which is, it's terrifying sometimes. And that means walking away from the version of me who thought she had to hide, who thought she was only second best. Literally, this is what I thought. When it came to boyfriends, when it came to running for president, God forbid I would never run for president because one of my best friends always won presidency. And so I would run for secretary or treasurer because it was safer. This is who I was because that girl, she helped me survive, but she's not the one who's going to help me soar and get to this next level. And maybe you're in this place too, or maybe you have been in this place too, where you can feel something nudging you forward, but the fear of being seen in a louder, bigger way is scary. And if that's you, I want you to hear me. You don't have to stay small to stay safe. There's something so sacred about saying, I'm ready to let go of who I thought I had to be so I can become who I truly am. Because we're the ones who play all of these, you know, thoughts in our mind and we create the story. And if you're listening right now and you're nodding your head, this is the part where I want you to pause for a second. I want you to grab your journal. Yes, this is the journaling moment, my friends. If you don't journal, that's okay too. But just take a listen, maybe pause, get comfortable. And of course, a little plug, if you don't have a journal yet, I have a simple Rise to Shine journal available on Amazon that I created for moments just like this, just simple, writing down your thoughts. And sometimes we just need a little space to reflect and release. So I'll link it in the show notes, of course, but just a little plug there. So now let's talk about three things that many of us need to lay down in this glow up era. And these are just going to be starting points, but I feel like they're powerful and they've been really true for me. So one of those are the old roles. We all carry roles that we've picked up over the years. Maybe it's the fixer, maybe you're the strong one or the peacemaker, the always available mom, the woman who never drops the ball. Any of those sound familiar? But just because a role served you once doesn't mean it still fits. One of the hardest parts of rising is realizing that shedding a role doesn't mean you're failing. It actually means that you're evolving. So, one of the journal prompts that I have used is this. And if you want to write this down, what roles have I taken on that no longer align with who I'm becoming? What roles have I taken on that no longer align with who I'm becoming? Journal that out or think about it, because it's okay to lay some of them down now. You're not quitting, you're just expanding. And then number two are the old rules, the shoulds. All those shoulds that we've absorbed from childhood. We've absorbed them from culture, relationships, careers, even. And these things, believe it or not, can become these invisible rule books that we live by. So these could be rules like always put others first, don't shine too bright, you won't look like you're humble, you have to be productive to be valuable. Any of those sound familiar? And these rules are actually often unspoken. Maybe those exact words aren't spoken to you, but you feel them and they run really deep. So, a journal prompt for that one, if you are feeling this right now, is what silent rules have I been living by? Who told me I had to follow them? And do I still believe that? Journal that out. Think about that. Because again, you're allowed to rewrite your rule book. It's yours. It's your life. This is your glow up era, not a remix of someone else's expectations. Oh my gosh, if this is the one thing, this isn't meant to be someone else's expectations of you. This is your life. You get to live this by your rules. And then number three are old rhythms. So sometimes it's not just what we believe, it's how we move through our days. Okay, so let me explain what that means. Sometimes we rush, we grind, we overcommit. That would be me. I am so good at that. I'm learning, doing so much better. But we live in a rhythm that reflects who we were when we were surviving, not who we're becoming as we thrive. So this season might be asking you to slow down, to create new rhythms that serve your nervous system, that serve your joy and your peace. Just because someone is in a different space in their glow up era. So for me, I talked about last time that I am in a season that I know it's not a hustle. It's more of a time that it's showing up bigger, right? It's not the time for me to lay low. I kind of did that. I kind of did that for a while. And really, I'm recognizing that my journey, there are those ebbs and flows. So there's like shorter seasons of times to lay low. So just like we heard, if you did not hear the podcast last week with Jacqueline, you guys, go back and listen. If you're in a quiet season right now, if you know that you need to rest, please go listen to her podcast. This is why I included it in the Glow Up Era series, because it's meant to be heard and you are allowed to pause. So just because someone else is maybe moving forward, maybe you need to realign with your nervous system. And then there will come a time where you might want to move and do something differently or move a little quicker. There's no judgment in that. So, one of the journal prompts that I love for this is, what rhythms or habits am I holding on to that no longer support the life that I want to create? Because again, this glow up, it doesn't require hustle for me. It just requires a lot of alignment. So maybe you're laying down a role, or maybe you're releasing a rule, or you're reworking that rhythm. Whatever it is, it's worth doing with love and not feeling shame over it. You're allowed to release what no longer fits so you can rise into what's meant for you. I'm going to keep saying those things over and over again. They're going to be like the Noelle isms that hopefully will not start to bug you. All right, you guys, before we wrap up, I want you to really let this land. Whatever you're carrying right now, whatever you've been holding onto out of habit or fear or guilt, you're allowed to lay it down. Not because it was wrong, not because you failed, but because you have to unbecome for your becoming. And that process, it's not always about doing more. Sometimes the most courageous part of the glow up is the release. So I hope you take some time after this episode to journal or think about what that looks like for you. And I want you to know that I'll be walking with you. There's so much happening behind the scenes right now in my world, and I can't wait to take you along for the ride. I'll be sharing more in the coming weeks, and I hope it inspires you to say yes to yourself too, honestly. Because here's something that's been coming up a lot lately, and maybe it's for you. There's never going to be a perfect time. Life will always be full. You'll always have something going on, something pulling your energy, someone needing you. But if you're waiting for the quiet moment or the calm week, the space to magically open up, you might miss the life that's trying to break through right now. At some point, we have to stop waiting and we have to start walking, even in the middle of the mess. So, if this is hitting home with you and you're feeling that tug or that whisper that it's your time, go with it. And I also want to invite you to go deeper with me. So if you're like, oh, girl, this is huge, this is where I'm going to do a little commercial, if you will, that we go deeper inside the Glow Up School, and we're doing that sacred work together. We're releasing, we're reclaiming and rising month by month with support, strategy. We have experts that come in. And if you're ready for that next step, I'd love to welcome you in. And if you're not quite sure where to start, grab my free Glow Up Guide. All these links are in the show notes. The Glow Up Guide is literally the first part of some of the work that we do in the Glow Up School. So you'll get a little taste of that. Or if you're like, I want to take action right now, like with you, start with the Rise Reboot. And that's just going to be a mini self-led audit. So you're going to answer questions, and then I'm going to do a video for you to help like coach you through some of the things that you want to work on to audit and spark your next step. So if you want to grab that glow up guide and that's just some independent work you want to just feel out for yourself, you guys, it's so good. It's really finding your alignment. But if you want something that's maybe a little bit more of a touch point with me, go for the Rise Reboot. And then, of course, there's always the Glow Up School, which is my absolute favorite. And of course, you hear all about this stuff on Instagram. That's where I kind of live and hang out. And then if you're craving something really like of more of a personalized deep dive, I've officially opened up a few summer dates for my VIP one-on-one immersion days, and I call these my the glow forward experience. And I say it's an experience because these are really intimate, high touch days with me to help you get clarity. Together, we create an aligned strategy. We design your next chapter with intention. And again, I'm sharing all of this on Instagram, so be sure to follow along or reach out if it's calling to you. I also share on Facebook as well, so you'll find me in a lot of the stories. But wherever you are right now, just know this, you're not behind, you're not too late, and you are absolutely worth of rising. And I want to be here for you every step of the way. So let this be the season you stop waiting and start glowing. And with that, my friend, I'm going to say keep rising, keep shining, and know today the best is right here waiting for you. All right, you guys, see you next Tuesday. Have a great one. Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review, and don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.